Sharia law is necessary for the UK.
It's necessary for all the world. Really good Sharia law.
What's the difference between someone like you and a radical Muslim? I like pork and I'm gonna eat pork probably forever, man.
Don't say forever, you never know.
Violent, radical white supremacists face off with radical Islamist jihadis. It's not Europe anymore.
This is the UK, home to one of Europe's largest Muslim populations. In this video, I take you to UK's two biggest cities, London and Birmingham, to show you what the rise of Islam in Europe looks like. I speak with locals, both Muslims and non-Muslims, to get their feedback and see how they feel about the undeniable demographic, religious, and political changes in the country.
But what's happening now is a takeover. This is the end.
Islam, I think, is going to grow. It's going to grow and get stronger.
So how can you tell us to go? We're not going nowhere. We are here to stay. Like I said, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
As of the latest 2021 UK census, the total Muslim population was 3.9 million, which is about 6.5% of the population. But in certain places in the UK, the Muslim population is well over 80% and only growing at unprecedented rates. By 2050, 1 in 5 people are expected to be Muslim. While the UK is still a majority Christian country, the number of people actually practicing is on a massive decline, as 4 out of 10 people define themselves as having no religion.
What alarms people in a Christian nation like England, or what was a Christian nation like England, is when you see churches that are becoming mosques.
It's not against Islam or Muslims. It's against who is letting them our daughters today.
And what makes this rise of Islam scary is the number of documented cases of radical Islam in the UK in recent years.
But on the flip side, there are many ex-Muslims who are leaving Islam.
Some say that moderate Muslims act as the grass that hides the snake. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the United Kingdom and many parts of Europe, and Christianity is on a sharp decline. Many of these places, like you see behind me, churches in places like London and Birmingham, Bradford, etc., are disappearing while mosques are sprouting up. So I've decided to come here and investigate the growth and rapid rise of Islam. So if you're a Christian, maybe this will wake you up and help you understand what's going on. And if you're a Muslim, this actually might make you proud. And if I make any mistakes, please do forgive me. I do believe that doing this with communication, honest interviews, talking to people directly is a good way to respect both sides and find out the truth. So let's go around the UK and investigate the rise of Islam. If Sharia law actually becomes more of a thing, that could affect you because
obviously
they see you. They don't like.
Of course. Realistically, I don't think Sharia law is going to take place in the UK. This country is a Christian country or secular, either one of the other. People are unrealistic. When these people see all these immigrants coming, they think, oh, Islam's going to take over. Sharia law is going to come in place. It's not going to happen. The people that are coming here, they're only coming here for a safer life, to provide for their children. They're not trying to take over. You get what I mean?
What does it mean to be part of the Muslim community in the United States and New York, and also what you've seen here in the UK? Because it's very big, it's growing. How does it feel and what does it mean for you?
Feeling much better here. United States also. That's the London mosque,
So does the Muslim community here feel stronger in the UK than in the United States?
I think here, yes. Yeah.
What are some things you want non-Muslims to know about your community?
Actually, non-Muslim know the community now. They know, Muslim community, so now they join, for the Muslim community. Yeah, United is the same. Yeah.
Yeah, Islam is peace. Most of the peace and truth. The universal. This is the Islam, isn't it? No one can force you. They believe is the one God, the right choice and human rights, everything. Then they go to Islam.
What does it mean to be part of the Muslim community in the UK?
UK Muslim community is very tight-knit, especially in the London area. Obviously, it's growing everywhere, even outside of London. It's a very diverse community here because it's not just specific to one ethnic community here.
So why do you think Islam is the fastest growing community in the UK?
Well, nowadays, because of technology, it's growing in huge numbers because of the social media. We are able to actually get the knowledge right in front of our hands nowadays, so it's very easier to understand and find out what you need to diverse yourself from the facts from the non-facts.
Do you think one day Islam will overtake Christianity or non-religious people here in the UK?
No, I would not say that because Islam is growing, but there are people of other religions as well. That's why UK is UK, because we can accept all sorts of religions. And even in Islam, if there's an ayah in the Quran specifically saying your religion is yours and you can also practice other people's religions as well. It's not a compulsory that you have to be in this path of Islam. So I would not say that it's only just Islam against the world. Whoever wants to come to Islam, more than happy to, but do your own research and come not because of compulsion, but because of your own will.
The most important thing is, Elliot, that we must understand this is the end. I'm not an idiot. I lived 12 years in Iran and I know about Islam. Persian people are not Islamic. They have the religion there, but they're not the mindset of the Arab nations and Pakistan, these kinds of Islamists. But what's happening now is a takeover. If you walk up here and you see a young British girl, you might see her with a t-shirt and shorts. That was normal for us. When they look at you, filth, destroy, filth, and lies. You've got to do what he tells you. And they look on us as something to be just got rid of. But the mentality is the evil, very evil. We've recently got 4 mosques in Dover while they're pulling down churches. This is not going to get any better. Not in your country, not in my country, not anywhere in the world. This is the beginning of the end.
Have you seen a rise recently in hostility or aggression or what they call Islamophobia here in the UK and media in the United States or elsewhere?
Look, bad people are everywhere. My name is Mohammed Sabir Ahmed. So obviously wherever I go, I get stopped by immigrations, especially if I go to US, Canada. It doesn't really matter to me anyway, but I am not a terrorist. I'm a very good Muslim. Always try to follow and help people, whoever they are, regardless of Christianity or other Jewish or whoever. I worked in government officials and government places and never had any trouble with anybody. Bad people are everywhere. Those who doesn't have knowledge of history, religion, they're the one who is actually causing trouble. It's not only from Christianity, it's also happening in Muslim world as well.
Many people see Sharia law and they get scared or they don't understand. So here in London in particular, what does Sharia law councils mean?
Sharia law council is people who follow Islam, especially if you get married, for example, how Islam give more privilege to women. I'm a lawyer myself. When they come out of their property transactions and distribution, here in traditional way, in common law practice, you have to wait long time to distribute their assets, and their women and children are actually fall into limbo. Sometimes they want to follow the Sharia law in a sense. They don't want to change the whole legal system in the UK. What I learned from the UK is equality and diversity. So here, UK is giving the freedom of religion and freedom of expression. So if someone wants to practice Sharia law, I don't see any problem on that. But Sharia law obviously not contradicting with Human Rights Act anyway. If anybody want to follow that, I think why not? They have option to follow that. I mean, the government are giving the privilege. UK is helping, so I don't see any problem on that.
So we met that woman who lived in New York for years, and you can just tell the difference is that people from the United States are much more likely to give their opinion, share their feelings, be open-minded, and be on camera versus someone from here in London. I can tell you, I've been making videos for the last 3 or 4 days. It is extremely difficult to get people to open up here.
I'm a Muslim. I used to go mosque, but I don't go there that much. I don't know, I started drinking and everything. I don't practice that much, but I'm a Muslim. But everything, Muslims who don't like America, I don't like them. I don't like them at all.
Sure.
I do feel sorry for Palestine.
Me too.
Yeah, brother, they're suffering. Young children, hungry and everything.
100%. There's many good Muslims and they don't impose their culture on anyone.
No.
But there's people who are really trying hard to convert people here. Why do you think that is? If this is a Christian country?
Yeah, I was thinking the same. This is a Christian country. Why they doing that for?
Yeah.
They are Muslim, brother. Most of them are criminals. They don't care about Islam. They just want to go, use the religion of Islam. Terrorism is against Islam. Suicide is against Islam as well. The true religion. I don't mix with these kind of people.
Yeah.
These jihadis, whatever they call them.
So here in Marble Arch, we have more preachers. I've been seeing this all over London. Religion is so present around here. And while there's lots of tourists, I kind of find it interesting how we have Muslims on one corner and Christians on the other. And behind me on my right, we have the doctors and engineers selling their substances. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the UK. Why do you think that is?
Because we've been lazy, we've been asleep. We got to wake up, we have to repent, turn again to Jesus.
Islam is very compelling. Once upon a time, I was indoctrinated with Islam. And I'm still a man of science. There are so many scientific synchronicities that I'm unable to explain. But one thing I will say is I don't trust anything that was created by a man, especially something that wasn't actually written by a man, something that's taken from accounts of people. So whether it's the Torah, whether it's the Bible, I question everything. I don't know how I feel in a year's time. I don't know how I feel in a day's time. But right now, I'm questioning everything. And I do see there are certain cultural synchronicities with the bad behavior that's being imported into this country. And I know that because I'm English, I'm Jamaican, I'm Algerian, I'm sub-Saharan Africa. So in saying that, I'm somebody who has a very diverse family. I really understand so many perspectives that clash heavily. And within that, the only truth I can find is that they're probably all bullshit. Islam is on the rise because the Quran is very, very compelling. It's extremely compelling. The language is extremely emotive. And one thing, there's a lot of repetition. And I'm a man of science. And I know that if you repeat something over and over again, you will believe it. And that's just the fact. That's just how it goes.
They bring this to our doors. Who bring it? They came here because this government allowed them to be here to our daughters. It's not them. It's government. Simple as that. It's no religion, no color, no race. It's this government who's allowing. It's this bullshit. It's a religion game. It's a hate game. It's against Islam. No, it's not against Islam or Muslims. It's against who is letting them our daughters today. Today, the police is protecting them, not our daughters. This happening just opposite.
That's it.
I am not happy with that. These traitors are paid to protect your kids, your daughters, your families, but today they are protecting these criminals.
So Islam's the fastest growing religion in the UK. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's not through conversion, in my point of view. It's through having loads of children.
Immigration and then second generation.
And then breeding.
But British people...
And they do it in other countries as well.
But British people aren't having children?
No, not that many, no.
Is there a low birth rate for English?
Designed by our government.
Okay.
All been designed. Higher taxes. We can't afford nothing.
But families, Muslim families can have 4 or 5 kids. Why do you think that is?
Don't know, mate. Honestly, I don't know. Some favoritism. I don't know. Government. I don't know. I think it's the benefit system, the welfare state. That's personally my view. 2 of my sisters are Muslim.
Are they converts?
They're converts, yeah.
Why would someone want to leave Christianity and go to Islam?
No, I asked my sisters the same thing.
So I'm an Orthodox Christian myself. I think what alarms people in a Christian nation like England, or what was a Christian nation like England, is when you see churches that are becoming mosques. Christianity is a dying religion, but we've got to remember that this country, it was Christianity that brought this country up. It's quite alarming to see a lot of people come here and not abide by the way we do, in the sense that, yes, we do have very conflicting views, and people would categorise this group that I'm stood in here as far right. I would not put us down as far right. I think what people would stand up for, like today, is the fact that we've got veterans on our streets that are homeless, but yet we're giving illegal people free meals, accommodation, bus passes, access into all of our museums. But then again, the people that fought for this country are on the streets. They're starving, they're freezing. Winters get cold here. We don't do anything for these people. It's people have been let down.
We're here at the Speaker's Corner, where free speech started and of course went to the United States. But as I keep saying, London is heating up. London is full of debates and different preachers on different corners. The things you see here are absolutely insane.
You're fine with sin. Yes, you're a lying bastard.
Why do you rely on lies, Steve?
Just walked in.
Is your message so weak you have to lie? Islam's no better, believe me.
Coming from you, that's a compliment.
In fact, it might be said it's a whole lot worse.
Islam is a
It's the way! It's the way! Islam is the way! Hello! Fuck you! Islam is the fastest.
That was good, guys. Good. You get the ring.
Hello! I love my country law! I don't like your Jesus law! I love my English law, not your Jesus law!
What does it mean to be a Muslim woman, and why do you like that as opposed to a Christian?
It's a very empowering religion for women. I feel very independent. I know my worth. The Muslim community, the women are very, very important figures in Islam. We're mothers, we're daughters, and we're students. Education is a must in Islam, and also marriage. Women are very important. They're very taken care of. When a woman says no, she's not forced to. And as like for money and being with a husband, her money is her own money, and their money, like the husband's money, is both of their money. So the woman is always taken care of by the husband's always provided for.
Do you think it varies with each country?
It's not because of our religion, it's because of people's culture. Like Afghanistan, and Muslim women are not forced to cover their faces. They're being forced by their husbands because of their culture, not because of the religion. And the religion, this is wrong, and this is a sin.
Pues, ¿cómo te hace sentir aquí en Londres y por tus viajes haber visto tantas mujeres tapadas por el tema de Islam?
Bueno, la primera vez que vi a una mujer toda tapada, que tenía la cara y los ojos todo tapados, sentada en un aeropuerto al lado del esposo, me puse a llorar. O sea, para mí eso no existe y no puede existir en ningún lado. Me parece algo realmente horrible, me parece violento, es violencia contra el cuerpo de la mujer.
¿Crees que si esto expande por el mundo occidental, es decir, el mundo cristiano, cómo te haría sentir?
No, yo me bajo del mundo. No me voy del mundo, me muero. O sea, yo no podría vivir así. Me parece que es inaceptable.
For women to understand, what is the use of the hijab and the burqa?
Basically, the reason behind it is just to protect the woman. Woman is a precious body. Woman as a whole is precious. So that's why in Islam, especially in the Quran, is told us to guard ourselves so that we are protected from other non-family members, which is the main reason behind Islam, so that we were protected and that we don't have to materialize ourselves, where nowadays everything is all about being materialistic and just showing off to the world. So it's better just be simple and still you can represent yourself.
Christians, the majority of the Christians, they have left the Christianity, and Christianity is no longer present, but Islam is present, and Islam is practical. People, they're praying 5 times a day, where the Christians, they'll go to church once a week. They practice Islam in a daily life, in everything, in business, in relationships. Islam is present and is visible, and it's the truth. Islam is the truth. Christianity is no longer visible. Christians have left Christianity, and the majority of the British people, they are good people. The British society is good society. I cannot complain much. I cannot say much.
The true Muslim men practice polygamy?
Polygamy is allowed in Islam. You can marry more than one woman, and that's the same in the Bible. Abraham had more than one wife. Jacob had more than one wife. Solomon had 1,000 women, 700 wives and 300 concubines in the Bible. So it's no different from the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And the Old Testament and Islam is very similar, and it allows more than one wife, but maximum you can marry 4 women if you can be just. If you cannot be just and you cannot take care of all of them, then you have to marry one.
Number one, the big one, is the biology bomb, as I call it. Muslim families are more in number than traditional English white families, for example, in England. Same thing in Scotland.
Same with the black community, right?
Well, the black community, they have more children than white communities. But nonetheless, there's a depopulation happening throughout the whole spectrum. Muslims, they have one wife, normal children, but they also have what I call 3 girlfriends, because you're allowed to have 4 women for 1 man.
The Muslims will say that they're allowed to have multiple wives as long as each one is taken care of equally.
That's why I wrote this book. Okay? To debunk that.
Islam continues to grow. Would it eventually overtake Christianity in the UK?
In numbers, probably not, because you see, God knows what is happening. None of this takes him by surprise. So even though on the surface, Islam is growing, but on the flip side, there are many ex-Muslims who are leaving Islam because they're here in the West, and they can investigate like books like these, find out for themselves. Hang on, I was trapped in a very demonic philosophy, so I'm going to switch. Now, they are hunted down by the other Muslims because they're not allowed to be an apostate. Death sentence occurs. And this is happening in secret in Britain. So on the surface, Islam is growing Sharia courts, for example, parallel to the British Constitution. Another phenomenon like health food being sold in shops designed to only have Muslims as customers, but we as non-Muslims have been forced to eat Islamic food. For example, you're a patient in a hospital in England. You may not know this, but the hospitals have a budget, and that budget does not cater for the 95% of the population who are not Muslims. So they say, oh, everybody's going to eat Islamic food, whether you like it or not. And they won't tell you unless you ask. Rugby stadiums, they do the same thing. Kentucky Fried Chicken, which was started by a Christian, Colonel Saunders.
So if Islam continues to grow, do you think eventually there would be some sort of conflict between Muslims and non-Muslims? Could it get to that point here in the UK?
It's already happening. It's already happening in the sense of people are now protesting about the infiltration of government by Muslims. For example, there are 6 MPs in Parliament right down there, right, Parliament building. And they're only representing Islamic interests in the north of England. So you ask, what agenda do they have for the rest of the country? Because they're not going to tell you, because now they're part and parcel of the ruling government. Why are you trying to concentrate on this power? What is it going to be used for? When Muslims are in the minority, they complain about human rights to themselves, fine. When they become the majority, they take away human rights, freedoms, everybody else.
So what communities would be most at risk if that were to happen? For example, gays, women, etc.
Look at the grooming gangs in the northeast of England. You had Muslim gangs grooming white girls. And they got away with it because the powers that be, police, social services, they could not believe that the girls. That could be replicated in other parts of Great Britain, and people say, no way. There's also the problem of people coming from Calais or Dunkirk as migrants who are illegally here. And they're fueling this debate so that you have conditions in society which are reminiscent of a revolution like in 1917 in Russia. And you know what happened next? The Bolsheviks came in, communism eradicated all the human rights. So Britain is at the epicenter of problems which need to be sorted out passionately, clearly, and justly, and not just to be saying, oh, you hate Muslims. No. We want protection for a Jewish Christian heritage in this great country. And that can only start when people are educated of things that they're losing. Simple as that. Cambridge, Oxford, Edinburgh, St. Andrews, these were all started by Christians. And the Bible was number 1. Everything else in physics, chemistry, biology followed. And we've benefited from that. But today, you get PLO flags and people going, we hate the Jews, blah, blah, blah. I got the same anti-Semitic rubbish when I went to Scotland recently, and I went to buy some food, an Indian takeaway. The guy took my money. He says, wait here, sir. And I waited. My food comes up, and the guy says, I cannot give you the food. And I'm going, why not? He says, you got a hat there supporting Israel. I said, you're being very anti-Semitic. I've already paid for it legally, and yet you're denying me my order to be fulfilled. And he says, I don't care. So if that can happen to me, those things that happen to other people as well.
Is the UK doomed?
No. Only God can doom a nation. Look at what happened in Nineveh when they repented under Jonah's ministry. Jonah didn't want to go because he says, God is compassionate. I'm going to go the other way.
Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
After a few days in London, I decided to head up to Birmingham to see what another city was like. And oh my God, I was absolutely shocked at how non-English this city felt. I know the city has been multicultural for decades, and I mean no disrespect to the locals, but I was absolutely appalled by the state of this city. The first thing I learned was that just like London, there are certain areas where almost 90% of the population is Muslim and completely feels like a different country. But the difference is that here there are hardly any tourists like you find in London. The city doesn't feel safe, which I show in a different video. I also learned that there was a mosque which was named after Saddam Hussein and was built by donations sent by him. The mosque had to change its name for obvious reasons. While exploring the city center, I ran into this man handing out the Quran and actively trying to convert people. You'll see this quite often in the UK, and it's much more aggressive than any place I've seen in Europe. Hello, sir. What's this?
down from the sky, rain.
What is your purpose here? Is this your job?
No, just to convey the message. I'm giving everything free. Would you like to have one?
No, I'm okay, but it's curious to see you here.
Be upon him, Jesus. Jesus is alive, he's coming back, so you don't need to say peace be upon him. And that Christ is not the same Christ in the Bible, that's a different man. And if you understand the Bible, you understand that.
Assalamu alaikum, sister. You're welcome, my sister. You want a pocket size?
English translation.
English one. You Muslim, sister?
Inshallah soon.
What's stopping you? We are on the internet. What's stopping you coming to Islam?
I want to study more and more and more.
Why do you think Islam is the fastest growing religion in the UK?
Because these people have been taken for a ride over 2,000 years from the church, because it's a multi-billion pound business. So they want to keep that cult. You know, average man realize, I'm going to go back to the one who created me.
Were you here in 2001?
Yes.
You were here when 9/11 happened. The Muslim community, of course, faced a lot of backlash. The words like radical, jihadist, those words were starting to become used freely and get passed around. What's the difference between someone like you and a radical Muslim? Because there's people who are worried about that. What's the difference?
If you watch the documentary, it was inside job. You know that, I know that. Every average man you'll see, they know it was inside job. Mm-hmm. Nothing to do with Islam, just to go for the oil.
Okay.
And they got it.
What would you have to say to someone who says this is a Christian nation, respect our Christian values?
There's no such a thing as Christian in the Bible. There's no word of Christian in the Bible. Do you know that? Jesus said in the Bible, don't eat pork. I don't eat pork. Jesus said, don't go in the piss up. I don't do it. Jesus was circumcised on the 8th day. Every Muslim is circumcised, not the Christian. When you read Bible, Jesus used to pray exactly like Muslim pray, all the way to the ground. So who follow Jesus? You or me?
Last question.
Do you eat pork?
Yes, I do eat pork.
If I prove it to you from the Bible, you don't have to eat pork.
Well, I like pork and I'm gonna eat pork probably forever, man. It's just what it is. And
don't say forever, you never know.
I never know, but I like pork.
If you stand with me full day, you will see like you see that white girl now. She said, I'm not ready, but I will come to Islam. In front of you. Imagine, you know, the youngsters, you can't take them for a ride because they took them for a ride for over 2,000 years. And this is not a Christian country anyway. This is modest country.
If Muslims have majority of the population, they'll implement Sharia law. What does that mean? Is that a myth?
No, Sharia law is not like that. If you somebody, you've been in the prison for 5 years, and the same person come out again, you can see on the documentary, he will commit that same thing again. In Islam, we got really good Sharia law. You know, these people who commit crimes like that, we wouldn't have that.
So you think having a stronger system like Sharia law is necessary for the UK?
It's necessary for all the world, even the Red Indians in America. It's the only way.
I've never heard that before, but that's... Well.
This is it's the way it makes sense.
What do you think of the people that are speaking against Islam? People are saying Islam is growing and it shouldn't be in England. Do you have a message for those people?
Yeah, because this religion, as we believe, our last messenger said, will go to every mud houses, and the king will say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. I bear witness there's only one creator. And do you know, they've been keep questioning the king now. Are you a Muslim?
King Charles, yeah.
So, there you go.
Some people think he's converted.
Well, it's good for him. Because after a while, maybe in our lifetime, you'll see many, many Muslims.
All right, so thank you to Tahir, the manager of media, who's granted us access to the mosque. Very, very friendly, very, very welcoming, and they've allowed us to come here and learn more about their community. In the United Kingdom right now, a lot of new immigrants have come in, a lot of them from Muslim countries, and oftentimes in cities, big cities, you'll see people selling drugs, committing haram. You'll see these things, and everyone knows about it. But obviously, when you come to the mosque, you don't see that. You see really nice people. What would the Muslim community say about that? Obviously, that's not a reflection of what you guys are doing, and it might make you feel, you know, bad because people generalize.
I mean, the criminal element in all communities actually would be pretty similar, really, and I don't think that the Muslims are in any way distinctly involved in sort of one thing or another. So there's a distribution of involvement in drugs activities, and some Muslims may be involved, some Christians may be involved, some atheists may be involved, and people from other communities and backgrounds, from all over the world. So there's nothing distinct about that, but what we do find is that the examples that are picked up and then projected and exaggerated onto the media are the ones from the Pakistani community, from the Muslim community. For example, the grooming gangs, as if the Pakistanis are running some kind of grooming gang in the whole of UK, which is completely fallacious. The vast majority, according to the government statistics, figures for the vast majority of offenders are from white communities, and as a percentage of white communities, they are higher than those of, say, Pakistani community, but they don't make it to the media. That's no news. As soon as you get a Pakistani people doing that, which is completely wrong, obviously, then it's in the media. Mm-hmm. So there is a kind of a narrative, a false narrative being projected quite deliberately is what we feel, and we know this. And it's the same people doing it again and again. They're projecting the same narrative, trying to create a division within society, hatred within society, by projecting these kind of elements which alter the perceptions of people. So from a Muslim community point of view, I think we've got quite a tall job to do actually in projecting the correct image and to educate people about Muslims. And this is one of the reasons why our mosque is an open mosque. Anybody can come here, we will show them around, and they can find out for themselves what Muslims believe or we don't believe. What we don't want people to do is to learn about Islam from people who are hostile to Islam, who sometimes have an agenda against Islam, and they are getting their information from them. They've got websites, they are present on social media and so on. So I think that's something that that's something that we need to address much more substantially. So these are ongoing issues really. We are where we are, but we need to do more to kind of tackle these kind of misperceptions. Well, we've been in this country for a long time, and people have become part of the fabric of this country. We got our institutions in this country, and mosque is one of the primary institutions, of course.
Do you think in the near future, or in 20, 30, 50 years, this England, the United Kingdom, could perhaps be a Muslim nation like we've seen in other nations like Lebanon or Iran? I've seen that people say we fear this is what's happening in England, and they don't want that because it's traditionally been a Christian nation.
I mean, there's a lot of exaggeration. The Muslim population of UK is something like 5%. So to make those kind of assertions is quite outrageous actually, and it's just fear-mongering. I think it's part of the negative portrayal, part of the fear-mongering that's going on. I think there's no reality to any of that. If the majority of people in this country who are not Muslim at the moment, if they accept Islam, and this is their country, so it only becomes their country when all the English people accept Islam. So should that happen, then it'll become a Muslim country, obviously. Or Japan will become a Muslim country as well. And so will the United States. And that's how Pakistan became a Muslim country. That's how Saudi Arabia became a Muslim country. So it depends on the people. It's not about imposing people. Islam doesn't mean imposing on anything. It's the willful submission to the will of Allah, willful acceptance of Islam, which is valuable. Mm-hmm. Not any kind of aggressive, coercive kind of approach. I mean, this is not what it's about.
So what's the difference between a traditional Muslim who comes here, lives their life, and someone who they say is a radical Islamist? I mean, you hear that thrown around on media all the time. What's the difference?
Well, it's a difficult question to answer, actually. It depends who you talk to. So somebody who is maybe practicing, some people may consider him to be radical. So the definition is kind of wide open depending upon who you talk to, what is radical, what is not radical. In the English tradition, of course, political tradition, being radical used to be a good thing. So if you were different from the norm, rather than following everybody being the same, so if you're a bit radical, that was seen as a positive thing. And people would say, I'm a bit of a radical. But in the Islamic sense, of course, people are giving their own definitions, really. It's difficult for me to say what my definition is. Okay. If somebody is a practicing Muslim, somebody is following the laws of Islam, then, they're a good Muslim. And to another person, they might think, he prays 5 times a day, he goes to the mosque every day, so maybe that's a bit radical, because maybe he should be doing a few other things as well, which he considers to be normal or she considers to be normal. So it's a moving target, that one.
After spending about 1 month in the UK in just a few cities, I can safely say that this is just the tip of the iceberg. I now see why people are reacting the way they are. Every action has a reaction. And while the majority of Muslims you encounter in the UK will be moderate, hardworking, and very friendly people, it raises the question, why do they hide and protect and sometimes even support radical Islamists in this country and throughout the world? What are their intentions and what is the future for the UK? I'm afraid it's worse than we might think.